New year in Uptown, and police have new strategic ideas to keep it safe. Did it work?
A new year means new laws taking effect across the Carolinas. We'll break down the changes you need to know.
You've probably heard it takes 21 days to form a habit, but that number may be off.
It really depends. It depends on the behavior itself that you're trying to change. It depends on the person, and it depends on the circumstances.
We'll verify what science says about making a change.
A beloved New Year's Day tradition returns to California this morning.
That's right. See how a South Carolina band is preparing for their moment on the country's grandest stage. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're continuing to follow this right here. This is 277 going over I-77. We're looking at police activity right there. Still learning as to what exactly is going on. Haven't actually seen a report of an accident, but we're going to continue to follow that for you coming up on WCNC Plus. Otherwise, it is nice and quiet out there, all green along I-77, I-85, right around Uptown. Not seeing any big concerns. Just remember, it is windy up there for the higher elevations in our mountain counties. Chris?
Yeah, we were just talking that it was busier around 2:30 a.m. than it is now almost to 7 o'clock, so it's crazy. So those people that are out driving clearly asleep now, not watching our show. But good morning to those who are. 47 degrees is our coldest start that we have over the next 7, but today 60 degrees is a great way to start off the new year. But check it out. We are back to normal on Sunday, but the lower to the mid-60s on Tuesday and Wednesday. This is a 7-day forecast. When you go to day 8, 9, and 10, all of those are in the 60s as well.
Wonderful.
I know,
So
I got you.
Stay in on Saturday. Just take the day to do what
Perfect
you
for
need.
your walks, Lisa.
Right? Yeah. I might skip it on Saturday. We'll see.
6 out of 7 days is good.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for joining us on this New Year's Day. We do hope that you have a happy holiday. We're streaming on WCNC Plus starting at 7 o'clock. Join us there.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on WCNC Plus at 7. I'm Megan Bragg, in for Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your New Year's Day forecast. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy, he's standing by. Happy New Year again to you, Chris.
Happy New Year to you. So, of course, for the first day, I'm going to go back to 2025, but this is the last time. We have to see where the year ended, and it was a warm and dry year, the two best words to describe it. Number one, we had an average temperature of 63.1. That is tied for the 7th warmest of all time. Meanwhile, 35 inches of rain seems like a lot, but over the course of a year, that is well below normal. That was actually the 20th driest. As far as our extremes go, 102. That was the hottest temperature that we've had in Charlotte since 2012. And 16 degrees, that's not that super cool. Instead, that's actually the 34th warmest coldest temperature that we've ever had in Charlotte history for a given year. And then the 102 point, well, that ties for the 10th warmest. So warm and dry, definitely the best ways to describe it. But something also big happened. We forget about this. Nearly a year ago, we finally had some measurable snowfall. That officially was on January 10th, where we went 1,077 days without a 1/10 of an inch of snow or more. And our trace of snow streak actually ended by the end of December. So that one was almost just as long, but it shattered the previous record set back in 1993 of 778 days. So Charlotte forgot what snow even was for a long period until 2025. Wind advisory, we have that to start off the year, but only for Avery, Watauga, and Ashe County. That goes until noon. Wind gusts to 45 to 50 miles per hour. And those wind gusts are going to really subside, especially over the next 2 to 3 hours. By about 11 o'clock, gusts to 25. Still going to have a stray gust of about 20 miles per hour out of the northwest for us here in Charlotte, and eventually shifts out of the westerly direction. But we're still getting to around 60 degrees and should be a pretty decent day. Lots of sunshine. Any clouds that we have are mainly going to be faded out contrails. So we have some upper level clouds now, but we actually are seeing signs of that. See this little line right here? What's happening this time of year, whenever it's that cold above our heads, and especially if you have more of a still wind, a contrail, so literally the line of clouds that forms behind an airplane, well, it can actually spread out and turn into some upper level clouds. So that's pretty much what all you're going to see across the horizon for the afternoon today. And it's going to be just great from morning till sunset. And this morning, we'll eventually turn over perfectly sunny skies. So if you're starting off the new year, do you know where I'm going to start to run more, just like that guy flying by? Well, not a bad morning. Ideally, you like to run with temperatures in the 40s, so I'd highly suggest maybe mid to late morning if you want to give yourself a little bit of a break. And then meanwhile, our forecast going forward for your Thursday, 60 degrees as we have this camera that's pointed down, and then temperatures reaching right around that 60 degree point, sunshine across the board. It's going to be a good one. As for tonight, temperatures dropping down to 34 degrees for the second morning of 2026. And then after that, really mild lows overall. So let's just jump right ahead and get to our 7-day forecast. Brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Supercenter. Around 60 degrees, so above average today and tomorrow. But tomorrow the clouds increase, and that leads to 3 superlatives. The coldest, the cloudiest, and the wettest day of 2026. That's being dramatic because we just began. But still, this day stands out from all the rest. So we're going to leave our weather bookmark right here. We'll talk just about the rain chances coming up and any other statistics I have for you coming up next time up here spieling about weather. But first, let's get our first check here on WCNC Plus in the new year with Majestic Storm.
Good morning, everyone. Let's do it. Hope you're off to a great start to your January the 1st. It's windy up there in the mountains, so if you're traveling to or from there today, just know that you're likely going to feel that wind against your car up until about noon. Otherwise, it is so quiet. We've hardly had any big problems outside this morning, but we are watching some police activity right here. This is 277 at I-77 here overlooking the Queen City. Again, not exactly sure what's going on. We don't have any official reports of any accidents right now, so it could be somebody got pulled over, but we're still trying to dig into that a little bit more for you. As we switch it over to our map, still a whole lot of green, a nice way to start the day, and it's been really quiet, but we're not too surprised about that. I mean, a lot of people don't have to work today. Of course, all the kids are home from school. Quiet around uptown if you're taking taking I-77 from Mooresville, your inbound lanes look great for you. I-85, whether you're coming in from Gastonia or even up there in Kannapolis, we typically would see a slowdown at this point, but we're not seeing anything even close to that. And then much of the same on I-77 coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County. Those drive times, as you can imagine, they also look great. If you're making that commute in from Matthews to Charlotte, it's going to take you maybe 20 minutes. I'd say probably a little bit quicker. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here soon.
Well, it is officially 2026 and thousands of people celebrated across the Queen City, many taking over Truist Field. WCNC Charlotte's Richard DeVay joins us live this morning from Uptown, and it was a carefree celebration thanks in part to CMPD's Safety First initiative.
And Richard, we also got to hear what some people are hoping for this new year. What are you hoping for, though? I want to hear from you first.
I am hoping to spend more time just watching WCNC with Megan and Lisa. How's that?
Okay, we didn't pay you to say that.
No, we did not pay.
Another answer.
Folks, let me get right to it. I'll give you something after this. First of all, it was a phenomenal day here at Truist Field last night where thousands of folks came out and celebrated, and police made sure that those folks were safe. Now, Uptown Charlotte came alive with a mix of high energy parties all around. There was music and, of course, packed crowds all around, all to ring in 2026. Now, at the heart of the action was the Charlotte New Year's Eve celebration here at Truist Field, where, as we said, thousands gathered inside and outside the ballpark in Romare Bearden Park for the festivities that built toward midnight. Entertainment capped off with a fireworks show over the stadium as the clock hit midnight. A shift from the past where there were street celebrations to a more controlled ticketed venue this year. And it worked out pretty well. There were other events going on around the city, but Charlotte Mecklenburg Police focused on safety with strategic patrols throughout the night. We've actually seen patrols even as early as this morning still going on. The celebration wrapped up without any major incidents inside the main event, though there were a couple of arrests. A teenager as well as a minor, both arrested. Police say they did confiscate guns, but they say overall it was a fun and safe time for the start of the new year, including those all-important New Year's resolutions. Take a listen.
They're out here trying to do their way from their families too. It's the holiday. They probably want to be out here dancing with us too. So, you know, just as a time for us to go into the new year, like I said, there's so much going on. Let's just try to love each other. And I thank the police for what they're doing, trying to keep everybody safe. I really do. I actually feel safe today. Like, this is awesome. I feel really good right now.
We feel 100% safe down here.
Yeah, that's why we brought the family down, so we're excited.
This year, I was just spending my money. This year, maybe I want to start saving my money, start planning for my future.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I like that one too. Yeah, just ask Ruben, our photojournalist who does all these great shots, the stuff behind the scenes. He says he wants to lose weight, and yeah, I can agree. That's mine. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for that.
Well, last night, Uptown Charlotte came alive with a mix of high-energy parties, live music, and packed crowds ringing in 2026. At the heart of the action was the CLT-NYE celebration at Truist Field, where thousands of people were at the ballpark. But hey, there are some things that you do need to know if you were out and about, and a quick reminder that New Year's Eve day is a federal holiday, meaning government agencies, some businesses and services are closed. Some stores such as Aldi and Trader Joe's will also be closed today. Other retailers like Walmart, Publix, and CVS will be open, but their hours may vary, so double check with locations that are close to you.
7:08, and right now a warning for residents across Chesterfield County following a heavy law enforcement presence in the area last night. We've been told the sheriff's office is sending its bloodhound team to Marlborough County to help with an active manhunt near McCall. Officers are trying to find a suspect connected to multiple ATM thefts. Officials say this is a coordinated multi-agency effort and there is no immediate threat to the public. We'll continue to follow this and bring you updates as we get them right here on WCNC+. This morning, a Steel Creek man is being held without bond, accused of sexually assaulting a child. Police say 68-year-old Randy Brown is facing 16 felony charges, including multiple counts of statutory rape of a child. Investigators allege that abuse began when the victim was 10 years old and continued for several years. Brown is scheduled to return to court on January 15th.
CMPD has identified the man shot and killed in West Charlotte early yesterday morning. Police responded to Rosl's Ferry Road just before 2:30 a.m. where they found 31-year-old Quentin Stowe with gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, there's no word on a suspect or a motive. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. This morning, the man connected to a deadly hit and run in Union County will remain in jail. 83-year-old Lenandus Smith was killed while riding his bicycle on Morgan Mill Road Sunday night. Investigators say this man, Francisco Escobar, is facing charges and says that Smith hit him and then drove off. Deputies say surveillance cameras helped them track down the vehicle. Escobar is now charged with felony hit and run and driving without a license.
North Carolina's Attorney General Jeff Jackson is suing the U.S. Department of Education. Jackson says the department unlawfully terminated nearly $50 million in federal funding for public schools across the state, most in rural and low-income communities. The department notified North Carolina on December 12th that these grants would be terminated at the end of 2025. In a video posted on Facebook yesterday, Jackson said that students in those communities deserve better.
This money is currently serving over 20,000 students across our state, mainly in rural counties. A lot of these counties were heavily impacted by Hurricane Helene, and this money's been used to help those students. The department gave basically no reason for these cuts. It's not alleging any kind of fraud, any kind of misuse. It's just saying it's all going to come to a halt in the middle of the school year.
Now, the lawsuit alleges that these cuts will force schools to shut down programs and potentially lay off staff in the middle of the school year.
All right, time now, 7:11. New health alert this morning for you. The State Department of Health and Human Services says a measles case has been confirmed in North Carolina. Officials say an unvaccinated child in Polk County contracted it. That child visited Spartanburg County earlier this month, where there's currently a large ongoing measles outbreak. The child has since recovered. Officials recommend all people 1 and older to get vaccinated if they aren't already. A woman in South Carolina says she contracted measles even though she was fully vaccinated. Now, while this is rare for a vaccinated person to get measles, it's not impossible.
NBC's Peyton Furtado tells us this woman is in quarantine and isn't out of the woods just yet.
I felt really, really sick, but also a lot of fear and anger.
A Spartanburg County school employee is still recovering after she says an unvaccinated student exposed her class to measles. Though the 57-year-old says she was fully vaccinated, she started developing a rash and a fever days later.
I was very, very dehydrated. That's why I ended up in the hospital. I was beginning to get pneumonia.
According to the South Carolina Department of Public Health, 165 of the 176 measles cases in the upstate are unvaccinated, most of them kids between the ages of 5 and 18.
I think the fact that there are so many unvaccinated children in the schools, and it sounds to me like it's very, very easy to get an exemption. I think that should be really, really looked at.
As holiday gatherings wind down for the year, we can expect the measles to continue spreading across Spartanburg County. And while the vaccine doesn't guarantee you won't get it,
in fact, about 97% of the people who get the recommended 2-dose schedule will have lifelong immunities.
This outbreak, mainly involving unvaccinated kids, puts everyone at risk of getting sick, even facing long-term consequences.
I'm still a little nervous because there's other side effects or symptoms that could pop up, pretty serious ones like encephalitis. That's still a fear. Even though I'm better, it could still affect me.
That was Peyton Furtado reporting. The Mint Hill community is showing support for 2 police officers who were shot last week. Those officers were responding to a child custody exchange at a busy shopping center. Both officers have since been treated and released from the hospital after suffering serious injuries. Yesterday, members of the community gathered to show their gratitude for the courage of law enforcement and to send a message of support to the officers' families.
Mint Hill Women's Club has been around for over 50 years in the Mint Hill community, and we love our police. And there was an incident that occurred last Friday, and we just want to make sure that they know that we're supporting them during the hardest time probably of the year.
Organizers say the ribbon event was more than a symbolic gesture. It was a moment for the community to heal and to reaffirm its strength. Could 2026 be the year of mega mergers? We're going to connect the dots on why bankers say the biggest deals may still be ahead.
Well, as the Panthers prepare for one of their most important games, we're getting fans ready right here at home. Our Danielle Stein will be in Tampa providing extended coverage on air. And of course, right here on WCNC Plus beginning Friday.
Now, if you can't make it to Tampa to watch that game in person, you can watch it with us. We're going to be live right here on WCNC Plus for a game night watch party starting at 4 o'clock on Saturday. It'll be real-time reaction and analysis, including from former NFL safety Eugene Robinson. It is time to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. Big money deals could be back in a big way. After a surge of massive mergers in 2025, Wall Street is already preparing for even larger takeovers in 2026.
Wall Street is gearing up for a big year of corporate deals in 2026. Let's connect the dots. 2025 saw a record number of deals worth more than $10 billion, more than any year since the 1980s. Big companies made major moves. Netflix agreed to buy Warner Brothers Discovery for about $72 billion, and rival bidders launched a nearly $78 billion takeover fight. Union Pacific struck a $72 billion railroad deal, and Electronic Arts announced a $55 billion plan to go private. Bankers and lawyers say confidence is high. Executives don't want to miss out, so firms are hiring more deal makers and preparing for more activity. Private equity groups are returning to big deals, and money from wealthy sovereign funds, especially in the Middle East, could fuel more transactions. Experts also expect new things in 2026, like spin-offs and crypto-related mergers. But not all regions are booming. Europe has lagged behind the U.S. in deal-making, facing slower growth and more regulatory hurdles. Overall, the mood is optimistic, but cautious, as Wall Street looks to build on a huge year and chase even bigger deals in 2026. And that's connecting the dots.
Well, as we start the new year, many of us are feeling financially stressed.
Yeah, a recent Lending Tree survey found that 37% of respondents took on holiday debt, averaging around $1,200. Here are a few tips to help you build and grow your finances in 2026. Experts say paying off debt is the first thing people should do to reset their finances in the new year. That starts with taking a hard look at your monthly spending. Another key step is building an emergency fund of at least $1,000. Here's how you can grow your money moving forward. Consider putting more into a high-yield savings account, which can offer annual returns of around 4%. You can also look into certificates of deposit, or CDS, which provides a fixed interest rate.
All right, let's check back in with Chris now to get an update on our forecast.
So I was just serious. Is my graphic up there right now? It's new here. I was just like, wait, no, that's me. All right, so temperatures right around 60 degrees over the next couple. But look at this big downfall. Which one of these days don't go together? 47 degrees this coming Saturday. So your New Year's Day looking great. Not so much for the first Saturday. I'm going to have the hour-by-hour forecast planning when the rain moves in and when it moves out of here. And then also what you can expect next. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Those watching us on WCNC Plus to kick off the new year. We're very happy that's who he is. I'm not sure who's out there right now and up this early, but whoever you are, message us. We want to know who's out there. Friday night heading into Saturday, scattered to likely rain chances expected heading into the third day of the new year. And I think we could have an isolated shower by your Saturday evening, but mainly looks to be the first half of your Saturday. And then looking at the longer picture, we have another chance for rain. This is barely anything, maybe an isolated shower on Wednesday to Wednesday night, but really nothing too major. All right, so let's get right to it. The first step that we have to get to that rain is increasing the cloud cover. It's sunny to start off your Friday. Tomorrow, and then it turns mostly cloudy by day's end and then overcast skies through the overnight. I don't think we have our first signs of rain really until about the early morning hours. It's called about midnight to 4, and that's good if you are going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl on Friday night. And then by about sunrise, that's where I think rain is the most widespread. We're going to have a mix of light to moderate rain, even some patches of some of that heavier rain. Then it starts to break up through the morning, and then it depends where you are. I think north of I-40 is a better chance to see more rain as we work our way into your Saturday afternoon. But still, regardless, throughout the day, it's either going to rain or feel like it's going to rain, meaning sunshine taking a big old break for your Saturday. So if you wanted to catch up on some things, reorganize your life heading into the new year, I'm telling you, this is your day, because it's not really motivational outside. If you want to be outside, today and tomorrow are going to be, or your days for sure. And then after that, by about 8 o'clock, I think we're rain free and in the clear. As far as how much rain we're going to see, not much. I would say maybe up to an average about a quarter inch across the area. So it's good to get the rain with these drought conditions, but nothing major. All right, Majestic, what's going on?
It's still pretty windy out there across the mountains, so just keep this in mind if you're heading out the door. I'm seeing a lot of flags that are just blowing all over the place. Otherwise, it's quiet out there. We don't have a lot of people out on those roads, whether you're traveling in and around the mountains or maybe you're just in and around Charlotte. This is Beach Mountain, even a little bit of fog up towards the higher elevations. Not too out of the ordinary, though. And then here's King Street. Not even a single car. Hopefully, you get to stay at home today. You don't have much to do. That'd be a nice way to start out the new year. This is I-77 at 277. We did have police activity just about 10 minutes ago. It's already cleared and there was no official report of any accidents there. And then again, big picture perspective, not seeing any big problems other than just this yellow indicating that this is where the winds are going to stay particularly strong through about noon today. No accidents to report. We'll give you another update all coming up here in just a few minutes. But for now, we're going to take a quick break.
Good morning, everyone, and you probably already heard it 100 times. Happy New Year. We have some distant clouds just beyond these skyscrapers in Uptown. 34 degrees right now, barely a wind, and our Thursday forecast is looking good, my friends. Sunshine across the board. High temperatures right around 60 degrees. Enjoy the day today. We'll have a slight wind chill, but mid to the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. That is a spectacular start to the day and start to the year. Overnight tonight, we are anticipating our lows to get on the chillier side, just much like what we had this morning. So right around the freezing point, pretty much what you would expect for this time of year. 45 on Saturday, though. That is also going to be a day that temperatures don't really move too much. Where Saturday has 3 superlatives. It's going to be the wettest, the cloudiest, and the coldest day that we have for the first 7 of 2026. Then we have some sunshine, back to normal. Temperatures eventually getting back into the lower to the mid 60s Tuesday and Wednesday. So not really too active of a weather report. Neither is traffic.
No, it has been very quiet, but we're getting ready for the first sunrise of the year. It's going to be a beautiful one. It is quiet, though. Lots of people not even working today. Of course, kids are out of school. It's going to be windy, though. If you're traveling this morning up in the mountains, be sure you're mindful of that. Otherwise, no accidents to report. Happy New Year.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Megan Bragg in for Ben. Well, it's been a chilly start to your morning, and we could see a little bit of a warm up maybe later on in next week.
Well, 60 degrees today. That's pretty good.
Okay, maybe today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
60
I'm not
today.
paying attention.
I haven't been doing this for 3 hours or anything.
I know, right? Literally, I need to listen.
No, that's all right. I have no idea what news stories you've been covering throughout the day. So do you know what? We're even. We're all right. We're in our own little worlds, in our own spheres. Wind advisory today, so sustained winds anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour. Gusts about 45 to 55 miles per hour. And our tower camera, 34 degrees is what we have around the Queen City. Barely a wind, so that means we have no wind chill currently. Out the door forecast, first time you're opening up the door to the outside world in 2026. It could be a good one. Sunrise time right around 7:32. And then we have beautiful sunny skies throughout the morning. The fact that we're already getting above the average high for the first day of January by noon shows where our day is going. 52, by the way, is where we should be. 53 is what we have around noon. And then that's where we're anticipating highs to be in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees by about 3 to 4 o'clock. Sunshine across the board. I think at most you're just going to be seeing some fading out contrails throughout the day. Those airplanes going past our skies, and then they start to fan out and even turn into some upper level clouds. Other than that, beautiful, clear, crystal clear Carolina blues. 34 degrees with this blue map showing that we have near freezing temperatures. Not a big difference up in the mountains though. Clouds are actually going to keep it mild there, and cloud cover is going to keep it mild throughout the day, and then even cold because 45 for our low on Saturday, believe it or not, is not too far off from our high. But first, let's get there. For your Friday, we have increasing clouds throughout the day, and I'll get to that in 1 second. But the start of this, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, kickoff at 8 o'clock, taking on Wake Forest and Mississippi State, starting around 50, ending in the mid-40s, mostly cloudy skies. I know I have a 20% chance for rain. Don't think it's going to rain. At most, you might have some sprinkles to start to move in, maybe even a little bit of mist by the back end, or if you're looking up in the big beams of light coming down, so those lights that light up the field, those are the ones that might pick up on some upper level mist. I think that's pretty much the worst case scenario they're going to see, at least for the time being. Scattered rain then moves through the overnight, and then likely for your Saturday. And being honest with you, the Napometer is in the perp, so that means that it is going to be a lazy feel to your Saturday. So no real motivation. Oh man, I really need to get going to do these New Year things. Now, the only thing I suggest, since we're not looking at a lot of sunshine, today it's actually bad juju, bad superstition for you to do any laundry or cleaning today. So maybe you want to put it off for Saturday that you don't really have any motivation to get outside. Now by Sunday, it's still cold for winter, right around 52 degrees. That's where we should be, but that sunshine makes things so much better. So let's get right to our rain chance. Right now we're looking at some clouds on and off, but mainly up in the mountains. Starting off clear tomorrow, mostly clear, and then those clouds start to build in. As far as our rain goes, this looks to be mainly a Saturday morning event, but we will keep our rain chances around for most of the day. That's going to be on and off rain for the morning. Then it shifts to the north, and then by your Saturday evening, it is past and gone. We are good to go. Jerry Hunt Super 7-day forecast has us at the coolest on Saturday. After that, we're actually challenging the 60s multiple days. Tuesday, Wednesday, the following Thursday, and Friday all look to be in the 60s. So the 60s taking over. That's a nice range to be in for the first 7 to 10 days of the new year. All right, let's see what's new in the traffic world. I'm guessing not much.
We have had a couple of changes that we need to go over, so let's get to this. We'll start with some good news. Look at how beautiful it is. Very first day of January. Of course, beautiful Lake Norman. This is I-77 just north of Griffith here. If you do have someplace to be, yes, grab that heavy jacket. It's still chilly out there. Still holding on to strong gusty winds up in our mountain counties as well. So if you're traveling today, make sure you have both hands on the steering wheel because those winds are going to be strong and steady up until about noon. Now we have a report of a serious accident. It's on East 27th Street between Jordan Place and North Tryon Street. I am seeing some yellow with that, meaning that there are going to be some minor delays there. Meanwhile, right around Uptown continuing to stay nice and green. And then another accident just reported. This one is on Harris Boulevard between Davis Lake Parkway and Old Statesville Road. You can see a little bit of a highlight there as well. So those are the two things you need to know as you're heading out the door. I-85 321 out towards Gaston County. Typically, we would see some delays at this part of the day, but as of now, not seeing much there, and we'll let you know as things do change. Megan.
All right, thanks so much, Majestic. A new year means many new laws are set to take effect right here in North Carolina. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live in West Charlotte, breaking down some of the changes that could impact you. Good morning, Destiny.
We'll check back in with Destiny momentarily. For the first time, NASCAR star Denny Hamlin is commenting after losing his father in a Gaston County house fire. The NASCAR driver posted on X saying, "Thank you to everyone who has reached out with condolences on my father's passing. My mother continues to improve, and our family truly appreciates the outpouring of support and the respect for our privacy during this time." Denny's father, Dennis Hamlin, died after that house fire on Sunday.
Right now, the Chester County Sheriff's Office is releasing new video of a police chase on Monday that led to 2 arrests. They say deputies went to make a traffic stop on Highway 9 between Richburg and Chester when the car took off racing through downtown Chester. Deputies intervened and ended the pursuit just moments after it began. The driver, Dawson Gainey, and the passenger, Haley Holland, were arrested. They both face multiple charges. Well, take a look at your screen right now. Authorities are asking for your help finding a missing man in Monroe. 65-year-old Christopher Burns has not been seen or heard from by his family since April of 2025. Officials say he was last known to use a wheelchair for mobility. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you're asked to call the number below.
The final suspect in a deadly shooting at a Mooresville park is now in custody. Police say 17-year-old Christopher Flores was arrested after being released from the hospital. He is charged as an adult with murder along with several other charges. You may remember 2 juveniles were shot at Mazeppa Park during an attempted robbery involving THC vape pens. One person died at the scene. Another was taken to the hospital. 8 suspects, including 5 teenagers, are facing charges in the case. 5 of those charged face murder charges.
Well, some sad news this morning as we're learning the North Carolina former Chief Justice Rhoda Billings has passed away. She was just 88 years old. She was appointed Chief Justice in 1986. Current Chief Justice did release a statement saying in part that Billings served the state of North Carolina in multiple ways for many years and that she left a lasting legacy. Also adding that the NC Judicial Branch is thankful for her full life and are praying for her family.
Right now, families across the nation are in danger of losing child care after the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced it's freezing federal payments to all 50 states.
This move comes after allegations of fraud at Minnesota daycare centers. Cheryl Hubbard shares how local and state officials say these allegations and moves are politically motivated.
Let's be honest about how we really got here. Our president decided he doesn't like the Somali community and he wants to destroy them.
Minnesotans say they're being unfairly targeted by the Trump administration after federal health officials announced a freeze on all child care payments to the state amid allegations of widespread fraud.
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
The move comes weeks after ICE launched operations in Minneapolis-St. Paul area to specifically target undocumented Somali immigrants. In early December, President Donald Trump said he doesn't want Somalis in the country.
They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you.
And just days ago, a YouTube video that claimed to find widespread fraud at Somali-run child care centers went viral, receiving millions of views and a retweet from the vice president. But state officials say they take allegations of child care fraud seriously, are working to improve systems and hold bad actors accountable, and say they believe the latest allegations are politically motivated.
My team and I are exploring all our legal options to ensure that critical child care services do not get abruptly slashed based on pretext and grandstanding. This hasty, scorched earth attack is not just wrong, it may well be illegal.
I'm Cheryl Hubbard reporting.
All right, let's get back to Destiny Richards. She's going to tell us about some new laws that could affect you coming into this new year. Good morning, Destiny.
Yes, good morning. So several new laws going into effect in North Carolina. They touch on different things like state investments, health care, and one particular law actually defines a person's biological sex in the law. So starting with House Bill 506, this changes how North Carolina manages billions in state investments, shifting oversight from the state treasurer to a new independent authority. The SCRIPT Act also takes effect, providing financial support and more transparency for community pharmacies, especially in rural areas. But the law drawing the most attention is House Bill 805, which defines biological sex as male or female in state statutes and policies. It limits state funding for some gender transition care for incarcerated people and allows students to opt out of certain classroom activities based on religious beliefs. Supporters say it provides clarity, but critics say it targets transgender people, similar to the 2016 bathroom bill, which sparked national backlash.
Being a queer young person right now is very difficult. Their very identities are kind of under public debate in the spotlight. Decisions are being made about them without them.
Now, House Bill 805 passed over the governor's veto last summer, and some of the provisions went into effect in 2025. But as of today, the actual formal language that defines a person's sex is now in that law. And advocates say they're going to be closely watching this to see how this new definition applies in schools, healthcare, and state policy. Live in West Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, Destiny, thanks so much. Starting today, CMS will roll out an updated technology policy. The changes clarify when students can use cell phones and other devices during class, limits access to social media, and strengthens internet safety precautions. The policy also restricts one-on-one electronic communications between staff and students. School leaders say the update aligns with state law and supports a safer, more focused learning environment. The North Carolina Department of Transportation is highlighting major progress made in 2025, especially in recovery from Hurricane Helene. The storm damaged more than 9,000 road locations statewide, but NCDOT says crews have already repaired more than 7,000 sites and hundreds of bridges. The state also secured more than $1 billion in federal relief funding. Leaders say the focus now turns to safety, DMV improvements, and building a more resilient transportation system in 2026.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster has proclaimed January as Interfaith Harmony Month, kicking off a series of events aimed at promoting religious community and acceptance. The tradition started after World War II when a group of Japanese women who were Buddhists married American soldiers and moved to Fort Jackson, where they continued practicing their faith.
At Interfaith Partners gatherings, we've discovered that we don't just have to tolerate each other. We create safe places in which people with significant differences can have conversations about those differences safely, in good faith.
Organizers have already scheduled more than a dozen events throughout the month.
Well, trying to start a new habit this year turns out it may take longer than you think. Ahead, we'll just verify how long it really takes to commit to a change.
And as the Panthers prepare for one of their most important games, we're getting fans ready right here at home. Our Danielle Stein is going to be in Tampa, providing extended coverage both on the air and here on WCNC Plus beginning on Friday. Now, if you can't make it to Tampa to watch the game in person, just to watch with us. We'll be live here on WCNC Plus for a game night watch party starting at 4 o'clock on Saturday. We'll have real-time reaction and analysis, including from former NFL safety Eugene Robinson. The time is now 7:46. This time of year, people are making resolutions to create change in the new year.
Yeah, and it can be things like going to the gym more, eating better, or even saving money. And for years, people have said it takes 21 days to build a habit, but is that really true? Let's verify.
Our sources for this question: Jackie Greco, a licensed clinical mental health counselor with Sun Counseling and Wellness, and a study on habit forming done by Philippa Laley. The thought that it takes 21 days to build a habit goes back decades.
That is actually a myth that came from the 50s when a plastic surgeon wrote a paper about when patients are getting used to looking at their new face after they've received plastic surgery, and how he noticed that it took an average of 21 days for an old mental image to dissolve and for a new image to take place, which then I think was misinterpreted and rolled with to become the idea of being, well, 21 days of completing a task. That means that you've built a new habit.
The study by Philippa Laley took 96 volunteers and investigated the process of forming a habit. The volunteers chose an eating, drinking, or activity behavior to carry out daily in the same context for 12 weeks. Each day, they recorded whether they carried out the behavior. 82 of the participants provided sufficient data for analysis.
What she found was that on average, it takes about 2 months or 66 days before a new behavior becomes automatic. For some people, it took as little as 18 days. For some people, it took as much as 254 days to form a new habit.
There is no one reason for why it takes some people longer and some people shorter to form a habit. Instead, Greco says there are a variety of reasons.
It really depends. It depends on the behavior itself that you're trying to change. It depends on the person. And it depends on the circumstances that are both in and out of people's control when they're trying to change.
The study found missing one opportunity to perform the behavior did not affect the habit formation process. Greco agrees.
When we are only focused on the goal of whether or not we completed that task, what we're not focusing on are building those conscious behaviors and processes to make sure that we're actually incorporating a new habit into our daily life.
So we can verify that no, it doesn't always take 21 days to form a habit.
As always, if you'd like something verified, just email me at verify@wcnc.com.
Well, check this out. Today, New Year's festivities continue for some folks in the Carolinas. South Carolina's very own Clover High School Marching Band will perform in California today at the Rose Parade. You're taking a look at their performance from earlier this week at Veterans Memorial Stadium. This is in Long Beach. Of course, you don't want to miss their participation in that 137th Tournament of Roses Parade, along with being broadcast on NBC. It will also be available to stream on several platforms.
Like the story Sprinkle, time for On This Day in History. We go back to the first day of January 1942. The Rose Bowl is the subject. The Rose Bowl was actually moved to Duke Stadium in Durham, North Carolina because of the fear of attack by the Japanese in Pasadena, California. That was January 1st, 1942. The Rose Bowl right there in Durham, North Carolina. Duke versus Oregon State. 56,000 people were there and watched the game. Oregon State won 20-16 for the Rose Bowl. There's an actual ticket to that. The price just a little over $4. It was played at 2 p.m. Thursday, January 1st, 1942. There's the stadium right there, packed with, as we said, about 56,000 fans. The Rose Bowl, January 1st, 1942. On This Day in History, I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Well, good morning, everybody. So I just finished up this graphic for you. This advantage of WCNC Plus, making new things. So the top 5 warmest January 1st or New Year's, 78, 74, 73, 71, and 70. Now, we've hit that 70 mark 3 other times, but looking at 60 degrees for a high, that's actually still in the top 40. So this was going to level out to be about the 37th warmest start to the new year, where the average is typically around 52. So it's always nice that we have that range. So it's going to put it in perspective. Actually, only 8 degrees above the normal, but nowhere near that record high of 78 degrees. But that's all right. We'll take it. I was mentioning earlier about our rain chances, that they're most scattered on your Friday night heading into Saturday. But I also want to say we can thank our lucky stars that it isn't much colder leading up to this, because this is a classic setup. It's almost a Miller A, Miller B hybrid, and that just means that these are the typical nor'easter setups that can, if we have cold air in place, bring us a pretty decent amount of snow. But the thing is, we're so warm, and we're going to be on the warmer side of things. This is going to be all rain. So we're looking at just light to moderate rain across the board. I think an average about a 1/4 inch of rain is going to fall across the area. Some areas seeing a little bit more, up to about a 1/2 inch plus. But it looks to primarily be the morning. As this system is passing, it'll clear out heading into the evening, and then eventually that sunshine is going to stay with us. So that gives me a chance to show us the next 10 days, the first 10 days of the new year 2026. It's actually amazing that the 60s are winning out. A typical January, by the way, will have a 60-degree high at least 3 times and as much as 9 times. And that's based over the last 30 years. I went back 30 years to kind of see the average there. It's about 5.5 times, but of course, let's call it 5 to 6. Well, we're going to drop down to about 47 for the one day that we are going to call the wettest. But then other than that, the 60s are winning out. And as I mentioned, that rain chances for the near term, the only chance that we have for a likely batch of rain is going to be Saturday, really Saturday morning. After that, just kind of a hit or miss variety of showers. Of course, it can change heading into week number 2 of the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. It is a delightful set of temperatures overall. Just Saturday standing out from all the rest. Let's see the standout situation for your morning commute, though, with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Still pretty quiet out there on the very first day of January. Still breezy there. Some of our cameras still showing a lot of the flags still whipping around. This is out there at Banner Elk, but a lot of people, of course, have the day off of work. If that is you, hopefully you can just kind of take it easy today. Still beautiful. This is I-77 coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County, some of our South Carolina cameras, and then King Street out there in Boone. It looks like there's a couple of cars there out on those roads. Again, not seeing anything significantly impacting I-77 or I-85, but the one thing that I do have my eyes on is this right here. It's on 27th Street between Jordan Place and North Tryon Street. There is an accident that's being reported, and they are saying that it's a serious one. We'll have another update for you coming up here soon, but for now, we're going to take a quick break.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is going to be a delightful start to the new year. We have a current wind chill that's around freezing, but the actual temperature at least is above that. But if you factor in the temperatures up in the mountains, it actually feels like 15 degrees around Boone, even though the actual air temperature is 31. Now up to 37 around Charlotte. Much cooler, though, to the west, though, where we had the cloud cover, 26 over in Shelby, 29 over in Lincolnton. So good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a delightful day. Sunshine across the board, just seeing some contrails off in the sky. And then we have high temperatures right around 60 degrees, which is delightful for this time of year. We typically should start off the new year around 52, a low around freezing. Lows are pretty much on brand. But then going forward, we're going to be close to 60 tomorrow, but we increase the cloud cover. The only day it stands out from the rest is that rain on Saturday, but we waste no time getting back to the 60s next Tuesday. All right, so what's going on for your morning commute? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're off to a great New Year's Day. We have very quiet conditions out on those roads, so if you are traveling this morning, no big problems on I-77. Still following the serious crash show. It's on East 27th Street between Jordan Place and Tryon Street, and then another one right here. It'll be between Atondo Ave and Statesville Ave. More on WCNC Plus.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8. I'm Megan Bragg, in for Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. It is officially 2026, and thousands of people celebrated across the Queen City, many taking over Truist Field. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live from Uptown this morning, and things went off pretty well. In fact, thanks in part to CMPD's Safety First initiative.
That's right. And Richard also got to hear from some folks about what they're hoping for this new year. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning to you, Megan. Good morning, Lisa. Good Thursday morning, everyone, and happy 2026. A lot of folks came out here, including some of our colleagues last night as we were just going over people's social media profiles, enjoying themselves in Uptown and here at Truist Park. We can tell you that basically last night in Uptown Charlotte came alive with a mix of high energy parties. There was live music and there were packed crowds ringing in 2026 all over the Uptown area. And the heart of the action was right here, the New Year's Eve celebrations at Truist Field, where thousands gathered inside the ballpark for festivities that built toward midnight. The event featured entertainment and capped off with that fireworks show over the stadium as the clock hit 12. It was a shift from past street celebrations to a more controlled ticket venue this year. Now, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police focused on safety with strategic patrols throughout the night all around Uptown and throughout the Queen City. Overall, the celebrations wrapped up without any major incidents inside the main event or even outside the main event. There were a few few incidents, and police say they did have 2 arrests in the Uptown area. They arrested an 18-year-old as well as a juvenile, and they also say they confiscated 2 guns in all of last night. So it was a very safe time for the start of the new year, and a lot of folks we spoke to were happy about that, as well as the all-important New Year's resolutions. Take a listen.
They're out here trying to do their way from their families too. It's the holiday. They probably want to be out here dancing with us too. So, you know, just as a time for us to go into the new year, like I said, there's so much going on. Let's just try to love each other. And I thank the police for what they're doing, trying to keep everybody safe. I really do. I actually feel safe today. Like, this is awesome. I feel really good right now.
We feel 100% safe down here.
Yeah, that's why we brought the family down, so we're excited.
This year, I was just spending my money. This year, maybe I want to start saving my money, start planning for my future.
Yeah, that's a great advice. And this year, I'm going to hope that I can kick this flu bug or whatever this thing is that's got my voice sounding like this. But overall, for all our folks out there in the plus, Happy New Year. And guys, we'll send it back to you. That's the story right here from Uptown. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Richard.
And a quick reminder that New Year's Day is a federal holiday, meaning government agencies, some businesses and services are closed. Some stores such as Aldi and Trader Joe's will also be closed today. Other retailers like Walmart, Publix, and CVS will be open, but their hours may vary, so double check with locations close to you.
8:03, and right now a warning for residents across Chesterfield County following a heavy law enforcement presence in the area last night. We've been told the sheriff's office is sending its bloodhound team into Marlborough County to help with an active manhunt near McCall. Officers are trying to find the suspect connected to multiple ATM thefts. Officials stress this is a coordinated multi-agency effort and there is no immediate threat to the public. We will continue to follow this and to bring you updates on WCNC Charlotte. This morning, a Steel Creek man is being held without bond accused of sexually assaulting a child. Police say 68-year-old Randy Brown is facing 16 felony charges, including multiple counts of statutory rape of a child. Investigators allege that abuse began when the victim was 10 years old and continued for several years. Brown is scheduled to return to court on January 15th.
CMPD has identified the man shot and killed in West Charlotte earlier yesterday morning. Police responded to Russell's Ferry Road just before 2:30 a.m., where they found 31-year-old Quentin Stowe with gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, there's no word on a suspect or a motive. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. This morning, the man connected to a deadly hit and run in Union County will remain in jail. 83-year-old Lenandos Smith was killed while riding his bicycle on Morgan Mill Road Sunday night. Investigators say this man, Francisco Escobar, hit Smith, then drove off. Deputies say surveillance cameras helped them track down the vehicle. Escobar is now charged with felony hit and run and driving without a license.
North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson is suing the U.S. Department of Education. Jackson says the department unlawfully terminated nearly $50 million in federal funding for public schools across the state, most in rural and low-income communities. The department notified North Carolina on December 12th that these grants would be terminated at the end of 2025. In a video posted on Facebook yesterday, Jackson said that students in those communities deserve better.
This money is currently serving over 20,000 students across our state, mainly in rural counties. A lot of these counties were heavily impacted by Hurricane Helene, and this money's been used to help those students. The department gave basically no reason for these cuts. It's not alleging any kind of fraud, any kind of misuse. It's just saying it's all going to come to a halt in the middle of the school year.
Now, the lawsuit alleges that these cuts will force schools to shut down programs and potentially lay off staff in the middle of the school year.
Well, 8:05 right now, new health alert this morning. The State Department of Health and Human Services says a measles case has been confirmed in North Carolina. Officials say an unvaccinated child in Polk County contracted it. That child visited Spartanburg County earlier this month, where there's currently a large ongoing measles outbreak. The child has since recovered. Officials recommend all people 1 and older to get vaccinated if they aren't already. A woman in South Carolina says she contracted measles even though she was fully vaccinated. Now, while it's rare for a virus or vaccinated person to get measles, it is not impossible.
NBC's Peyton Furtado tells us this woman is in quarantine and she's not out of the woods just yet.
I felt really, really sick, but also a lot of fear and anger.
A Spartanburg County school employee is still recovering after she says an unvaccinated student exposed her class to measles. Though the 57-year-old says she was fully vaccinated, she started developing a rash and a fever days later.
I was very, very dehydrated. That's why I ended up in the hospital. I was beginning to get pneumonia.
According to the South Carolina Department of Public Health, 165 of the 176 measles cases in the upstate are unvaccinated, most of them kids between the ages of 5 and 18.
I think the fact that there are so many unvaccinated children in the schools, and it sounds to me like it's very, very easy to get an exemption. I think that should be really, really looked at.
As holiday gatherings wind down for the year, we can expect the measles to continue spreading across Spartanburg County. And while the vaccine doesn't guarantee you won't get it,
in fact, about 97% of the people who get the recommended 2-dose schedule will have lifelong immunities.
This outbreak, mainly involving unvaccinated kids, puts everyone at risk of getting sick, even facing long-term consequences.
I'm still a little nervous because there's other side effects or symptoms that could pop up, pretty serious ones like encephalitis. That's still a fear. Even though I'm better, it could still affect me.
That was Peyton Furtado with that report. The Mint Hill community is showing support for 2 police officers who were shot last week. Those officers were responding to a child custody exchange at a busy shopping center. Both officers have since been treated and released from the hospital after suffering serious injuries. Members of the community gathered yesterday to show their gratitude for the courage of law enforcement and to send a message of support to the officers' families.
Mint Hill Women's Club has been around for over 50 years in the Mint Hill community, and we love our police. And there was an incident that occurred last Friday, and we just want to make sure that they know that we're supporting them during the hardest time probably of the year.
Organizers say the ribbon event was more than a symbolic gesture. It was a moment for the community to heal and to reaffirm its strength. All right, 8:09 now. Chris is back with another check of our forecast, and quite windy today.
Very windy, especially up in the mountains. Gusts up to 55, still going to be a possibility. But truly, even though this goes until noon, it's the next couple of hours that we're going to have some of those peak winds that really meet that wind advisory criteria, and then things take a big old step back after that. So that's the only advisory that I have for you, even though current gusts right now still very much on that wind advisory criteria. Actually close to almost high wind warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds right around the Jefferson area, 48 around Boone. Then as we get to the coming hours, they drop down to about 20 to 30 miles per hour, and even lighter than that as we work away in the afternoon. And even this afternoon, I think we still have occasional gusts up to about 20 miles per hour, but not as breezy as what we had at times yesterday. Current temperature right now, 37 degrees around Charlotte, 36 around Salisbury. It is freezing for you in Jefferson and Boone. Feeling even worse if you factor in the wind chills with that wind, and like 15 degrees. And that's usually just factoring in a sustained wind. Truly, some of those gusts getting up to 45, 50 miles per hour, that would create a wind chill close to 0 at times. So kind of temper that. 58 degrees is what you have for temperature right around 3 o'clock, but we are calling for a high of around 60 degrees today. Pretty much a cloudless Thursday, or cloudless January 1st. Starting off in the lower to the mid 30s, pretty much what we had this morning. And then we're back to around 60 degrees with cloud cover heading into your Friday afternoon. That's going to be the big precursor for what's coming next. I do have a 20% chance. I kind of did that for a safety measure from 8 o'clock till midnight for the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Wake Forest taking on Mississippi State. The only reason why is there is a chance for a little bit of mist and some sprinkles that could work its way in, but most of the rain will fall for the first half of your Saturday. That's why Saturday is 47 for a high, and then we have sunshine bringing us back up to 52. But look at the difference. A low of 45, a high of 47, temperatures not moving for the day, and that often happens whenever you have a deck of clouds that just flatlines temperatures throughout the day. So here's what it looks like. Looking at the clock above my head, Thursday, 11 a.m., seeing clouds that pass, and then all in all today, it will be a sunny day, but then more clouds up in the mountains. But then by 2 o'clock tomorrow, we're seeing a big difference. We start off mostly sunny, turning mostly cloudy by day's end, and then overcast heading through the overnight hours. Our first signs of rain are really between about midnight and 4 a.m. From about 4 to 8 is where I think things become widespread for some of the heavier patches of showers. And then it'll kind of feel like it's going to rain most of the day. Not a lot of sunshine. Really, this kind of gives me last Friday and Sunday vibes, just with a better chance for more light rain that could come out of this. And then eventually we clear out and dry out just in time for the end of the weekend. But we are only cooling down for a brief little stint. We're below normal to normal this weekend. Then after that, above average on Monday, lower to the mid 60s, not just Tuesday and Wednesday, but the following Thursday and Friday as well. So a great 10 days ahead. All right. Okay, let's get right over to Majestic, who's had an interesting traffic morning so far.
Pretty quiet right now, not seeing a lot of changes compared to what I just saw a little while ago. Right now, this is I-85 though. You can see a few cars out there, but it is 8:12 on any typical work or school day. It would be a lot busier at this point. So that's a silver lining. If you have someplace to be today, you won't have a lot of traffic. This is South Carolina, I-77. It's a similar setup there. And this is an accident that is still not cleared. The police officers there on scene did label this a serious accident. East 27th Street between Jordan Place and North Tryon Street. We'll continue to follow that one for you until it is completely cleared. And then this one here at Tondo Ave at Statesville Ave. Not seeing a lot of colors around it, but still an active crash there. Right around Uptown 277 there, looks great. Not seeing any big concerns, but once we head over to the west, Gaston County, 321, I-85, all in the green right now, which is out of the ordinary because typically we would have those inbound delays at least by this time. And then I-77, if you're making your commute in from Fort Mill, shouldn't have any problems. And as you could probably guess, those drive times, they look great. It's going to take you just about 20 minutes if you're coming in from Matthews. We'll have another check on those roads all coming up for you here soon.
All right, thanks, Majestic. Okay, and as the Panthers prepare for one of their most important games, I'm sure a lot of us will be watching on Saturday. We're getting fans ready right here at home. Our Danielle Stein, she's going to be in Tampa providing extended coverage on air and, of course, right here on WCNC Plus beginning Friday.
Now, if you can't make it to Tampa to watch that game in person, you can just watch with us. We're going to be live here on WCNC Plus for a game night watch party that starts at 4 o'clock. We'll have real-time reaction and analysis, including from former NFL safety Eugene Robinson. The time is now 8:16. With different time zones come different traditions, like in New York, where many brave the cold to watch the ball drop and to grab a New Year's kiss. Spectators from around the world attended so they could don those novelty 2026 glasses and wear the Planet Fitness top hats. Now, over on the coast of North Carolina in Burgaw, they celebrated by dropping a giant aluminum blueberry, recognizing the significance of its local blueberry industry.
And across the pond, as Big Ben chimed at midnight, the fireworks began. The light show sparked along the river in London. It's one of the largest and most heavily attended celebrations in Europe. And they went all out in Dubai with various types of light shows with fireworks, acrobats in the sky, and a huge figure of a person formed by light drones.
All right. Well, we all want to begin 2026 on the right foot, right? And there are plenty of New Year's superstitions that people believe can help give them what they want to accomplish. Some of you at midnight might have been under a table eating 12 grapes. I saw this on social media. According to Spanish tradition, each grape represents 12 resolutions or wishes for the new year. The table is not actually required, but some believe adding it to the equation could help a person find the love of their life. In a Latin American tradition, walking an empty suitcase around the block on New Year's is said to attract adventure and travel opportunities. Some people pack items representing their dream vacation, like sunscreen or pool floaties.
And people avoid doing laundry or cleaning their homes on January 1st as it can wash away any good fortune for the upcoming year, according to Chinese superstition. Round foods like peas and lentils resemble coins, and eating them is said to bring financial luck in the new year. If you avoid them, superstition warns it could bring bad luck. Lastly, don't eat lobster today. Since they move backwards, it's said to bring bad luck and set back your goals. I do want to go through, though, because we haven't talked about this. I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. So let's go down the line.
Well, we talked about it a couple days ago about the Amazon thing. I spend way too much money on Amazon, so I'm just doing it for 1 month, January, to see how it goes.
I love that.
Maybe continue it. I don't know. Besides that, I kind of just like wrote a list of things that I want to do.
Sure.
Okay.
Not necessarily a resolution, but things I want to be intentional about doing this year.
I think I want to be more present.
Ooh,
We're on our phone so much, and I find myself just, I want to be more present.
It's called mindfulness.
Yes,
mindfulness.
Yeah, really practice mindfulness. And sometimes it's as simple as start with, like, if you're taking a shower, try not to think of anything. Just focus in on like the water in your scalp.
Right.
You're doing.
It's really tough. There's too much going on in my mind, so
know.
I'm not very good at it. But,
Yes.
but when you actually can, it's one of the best things you can do. For
It
yourself.
really is. I love that for you.
Yeah.
So mine's similar to Majestic, another resolution, but I want to take more walks because I feel like I should spend more time outdoors. I want to improve the vitamin D, so I definitely need to walk more.
I'm glad you asked. All right. So I was up at this desk about a year ago. I said that I wanted to pet an otter, failed miserably. I'm going to push that one to this year.
Okay.
We actually opened up, I forget the place, there's a place that actually is going to be opening this year in Charlotte that has otters. So, so I think I have a chance there. Number 2, I want to drink more water. I'm really bad about doing all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And number 3, for Christmas, I got a bunch of these flashcards that show different country flags, and I want to learn all the country flags.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll bring them to work if you want to share.
We can quiz you, but I think we're good.
All right, thanks for quizzing me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, we need to take a quick break, but don't go away. You can only get this stuff here on WCNC Plus.
Right.
We'll be right back, so make sure you stay with us.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on WCNC Plus. Starting off 2026, it's going to be a great one, actually. So, you know, I'm your stat man. Ski ba 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 dum bum. 60 degrees is the high I have for today. This is within the top 40 for the warmest starts to a year on record, which, by the way, goes back to 147 years of record keeping, about to go on to 148. The average is 52, so just about 8 degrees above that. But the warmest we've ever been was not too long ago, 78 degrees back in 2022, which is so interesting because that eventually actually led to one of the coldest Christmas mornings that we've ever seen of all time. Meanwhile, number 2 there, 1985. So how you start doesn't mean anything about how the month is going to end or how the year is going to end. So my man Rusty, one of our directors here, made a really cool correlation from one of the graphics that I had. He said, oh, 1985, I think that was actually one of the coldest days we've ever had in not just January history and Charlotte history. Well, guess what? Rusty, you get 1 life point because you're absolutely right. The coldest temperature that Charlotte has ever had in its history is -5. 5 below zero. And that has only happened thrice. Once on December 30th, 1880. Once on February 14th, a very cold Valentine's Day last year of the 1800s. But the one that Rusty was talking about was 3 weeks into the new year, January 21st, 1985. So put in that perspective, how you start is not how you finish in the weather world. That we hit -5 just 3 days after starting off the second warmest start to the year. Weather's crazy, y'all. That's why we're here to keep you updated, but really nothing huge for at least the first couple of days. Next big rain chance, though, is on Saturday. I'll have that in my full forecast coming up here shortly. But first, let's get a quick look at traffic. So, Majestic, I feel I toss to you and say there's nothing going on, then there's something going on, then there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
What's the status now?
Well, nothing on I-77 or I-85, so that's good news, but it's not completely perfect, although this morning it has been very quiet, but it's not that surprising. Lots of people off of work, kids home from school. One thing you need before you head out the door will be some sunglasses and a heavier jacket. It feels like it's right at freezing right now. It's gorgeous, though. This is I-77 out there in South Carolina, so if you're making that morning commute from York County into Mecklenburg County, the traffic is basically non-existent. Still following this crash, a police officers there did label it a serious accident. It's there on 27th Street between Jordan Place and North Tryon Street. Continuing to follow that one for you. Otherwise, as we zoom it on out, not seeing any big concerns, just a bit windy up there in the high country. We're going to take a quick break on WCNC Plus right here. We'll see you back here in just a couple minutes.
Happy New Year, everybody. High of 52 is usually how we start off a typical January 1st. We're going to be above that, and 32 degrees is our typical low. Now, we were pretty close to that earlier this morning. We're above that now. 37 degrees. As we can see, we have our frozen regular Nintendo graphic here in the background. All right, there, now it's fixed. This is a cloudier sky that you're seeing up in the mountains. 31 degrees right around Boone, and then 37 over here in Salisbury. 60 degrees for a high today for January 1st would bring us in the top 40 for one of the warmest starts of all time. Nowhere in the top 5, but still nice to have that 60-degree point. And over the next 10 days, letting you know we have increased cloud cover on Friday, but that's going to lead to our best chance for rain in the near term. That's also the coolest day on Saturday before we warm back up to the 60s multiple days. That also means the first 10 days of January will be above normal and above freezing. Majestic, what's going on?
All right, good morning, everyone. Hope you're off to a great start to the day. It is beautiful out there, and boy, those streets are very quiet. Up there in the mountains, it is going to be a windy start to the morning, so keep that in mind if you are traveling there. Feeling like it's 32 degrees, though, so grab that layer before you head out as well. Area shaded in yellow, that's where the wind is going to be the strongest, so both hands on the steering wheel. Otherwise, no accidents to report in and around Charlotte.
Happy New Year. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Megan Bragg in for Ben Thompson. You know who's having a lot of fun this morning? Is Chris Mulcahy. There he is. Look at him go.
What are you talking
about? The what is it called? The horn? Not the horn.
The noisemaker. I don't know where mine went. I keep on throwing it.
He keeps throwing it. He like uses it once and then he throws it. So
yeah, where? There's not many places that this could be. All right, well. Do you know what? Just to switch things up, I'm now going to spend this entire time for my weather just looking for this noisemaker while I just kind of roll through my graphics. Like, seriously, how far did I throw this? Majestic, did you see where this one went?
I have no clue.
Yeah, this was interesting. All right, well, do you know what? I'll be back. And I brought 2 of them, and both of them are missing because I keep on launching them. But anyways, let's now take a step back. Let's live in the past. 2025. It was an interesting year. 2 words to describe it: warm and dry. 77. Or 77, where did that come from? See, I'm still trying to look for my noisemaker. 7th overall warmest is what we have on record. Actually ties for 7th, and this is also the 7th set of lows that we've ever had in any given year. 102 was the hottest temperature that we reached, and that was actually a 10-way tie for the 10th warmest, and then meanwhile finished as the 20th driest year on record. And I think one of the more interesting stats, too, is early on, last January, we officially broke our snowless streak. We were on a significant snow drought. We didn't have snow for the better part of almost 3 years, officially over 1,000 days where we had that trend. Well, this clicker isn't working. Man, this is just a derailed segment going on. All right, let's try this again. All right, showing you our current wind gusts that we're dealing with. We have still some really gusty situations up in the mountains. Around 50-mile-per-hour gusts is what we're dealing with. But I really think over the next couple of hours, we're going to see a big step back as far as those winds are concerned. And then once you get to about the early afternoon, still gusts to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. And it's at that point that I think Charlotte's going to have the breeziest situation, and then winds really calm down heading into the evening. Gorgeous right now in Monroe. Good morning to you. Happy New Year to you in Union County. 36 degrees for you right now. Cooler in Albemarle off towards the north, and freezing for you in Lincolnton right now. January 1st. For all the acquaintance we forgot, we can expect that the highs today are going to be right around 60 degrees. Not a bad day whatsoever. Lots of sunshine across the board. And our current temperatures are above average, and we're going to stay there. Our lows pretty typical to where you would be for a typical second morning of the year. But we're going to be right around 60 degrees once again for tomorrow, but there's a big difference. We're increasing the cloud cover tomorrow. So for the Duke's Mayo Bowl, if you're going to this, we are anticipating a few showers to sneak in, but this is likely after midnight. So there's a chance for a little bit of mist and drizzle to start to pop up, but most likely you're going to be staying dry with temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. But Saturday is not going to be a motivational day. As we've already discussed here on WCNC Plus, today's the day you're not supposed to clean or do laundry because it's actually superstitious, so don't do it. So the Napa meter at a high. I'm going to put my weather bookmark right here. We're out of time. We'll finish the forecast coming up later on in the half hour. Let's get right over to traffic, though.
Good morning, everyone. If you're just waking up and turning on the stream, good morning to you. Thanks for waking up and starting part of your New Year's Day with us. It is beautiful outside, still a little bit chilly. Want to show you some of our traffic maps. We have a whole lot of green out there. We really haven't seen a lot of problems out there so far today, so hopefully we can keep it that way. Whether you're going to be traveling around 45 as I-77 or I-85, conditions continue to look good. Again, feeling like it's 32 degrees, so a chilly start to the day and still staying very windy up there in the mountains. So if you're traveling today, maybe you're heading back into Charlotte or you're just heading out to the mountains, this is where it's going to stay steadily windy up until about noon or so you can feel that wind on your car. 485, you can see it is all green, and one accident that I want to let you know about, it's a newer one. It's here on Sardis Road north at Monroe Road. Not seeing any colors around it, so we'd like to see at least green with that. And then our secondary one is here at Atondo Ave at Statesville Ave with a little bit of yellow popping up at this time. If you're traveling in Gaston County, conditions look great whether you're taking I-85 or 321. No problems at this time. Megan, if things change, I'll be sure to let you know.
All right, thanks so much, Majestic. A new year means many new laws are set to take effect right here in North Carolina. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live in West Charlotte breaking down some of the changes that could impact you.
That's right. Several new laws went into effect today in North Carolina, touching on everything from state investments to healthcare to how a person's sex is defined in state law. Now, starting with House Bill 506, this changes how North Carolina manages billions in state investments, shifting oversight from the state treasurer to a new independent authority. The SCRIPT Act also takes effect, providing financial support and more transparency for community pharmacies, especially in rural areas. But the law drawing the most attention is House Bill 805, which defines biological sex as male or female in state statutes and policies. It limits state funding for some gender transition care for incarcerated people and allows students to opt out of certain classroom activities based on religious beliefs. Supporters say it provides clarity, but critics say it targets transgender people, similar to the 2016 bathroom bill, which sparked national backlash.
Being a queer young person right now is very difficult. Their very identities are kind of under public debate in the spotlight. Decisions are being made about them without them.
House Bill 805 passed over the governor's veto last summer, and some provisions went into effect in 2025. But as of today, the formal language that defines a person's sex is now in effect. And advocate groups say they're going to be closely watching how this new definition applies when it comes to school, healthcare, and state policy. Live in West Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
For the first time, NASCAR star Denny Hamlin is commenting after losing his father in a Gaston County house fire. The NASCAR driver posted on X saying, "Thank you to everyone who has reached out with condolences on my father's passing. My mother continues to improve and our family truly appreciates the outpouring of support and the respect for our privacy during this time." Denny's father, Dennis Hamlin, died after that house fire on Sunday.
Well, right now, the Chester County Sheriff's Office is releasing new video of a police chase on Monday that led to 2 arrests. They say deputies went to make a traffic stop on Highway 9 between Richburg and Chester when the car took off, racing through downtown Chester. Deputies intervened and ended the pursuit just moments after it began. The driver, Dawson Gainey, and the passenger, Haley Holland, were arrested. They both face multiple charges. Well, take a look at your screen right now. Authorities are asking for your help finding a missing Monroe man. A 65-year-old Christopher Burns has not been seen or heard from by his family since April of 2025. Officials say he was last known to use a wheelchair for mobility. If you have any information about where he is, you're asked to call the number below on your screen.
Approaching 8:38 now, the final suspect in the deadly shooting at the Mooresville Park is now in custody. Police say 17-year-old Christopher Flores was arrested after being released from the hospital. He is charged as an adult with murder along with several other charges. You may remember 2 juveniles were shot at Mazeppa Park during an attempted robbery involving THC vape pens. One person died at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital. 8 suspects, including 5 teens, are facing charges in the case. 5 of those charged also face murder charges.
Sad news to report this morning as we're learning the North Carolina former Chief Justice Rhoda Billings has passed away. She was 88 years old. She was appointed Chief Justice in 1986. The current Chief Justice releasing a statement saying in part that Billings served the state of North Carolina in multiple ways for many years and that she left a lasting legacy. Also adding that the NC Judicial Branch is thankful for her full life and praying for her family.
Right now, families across the country are in danger of losing child care after the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced it's freezing federal payments to all 50 states.
So this move comes after allegations of fraud at Minnesota daycare centers. Sherelle Hubbard shares how local and state officials say these allegations and moves are politically motivated.
Let's be honest about how we really got here. Our president decided he doesn't like the Somali community and he wants to destroy them.
Minnesotans say they're being unfairly targeted by the Trump administration after federal health officials announced a freeze on all child care payments to the state amid allegations of widespread fraud.
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
The move comes weeks after ICE launched operations in Minneapolis-St. Paul area to specifically target undocumented Somali immigrants. In early December, President Donald Trump said he doesn't want Somalis in the country.
They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you.
And just days ago, a YouTube video that claimed to find widespread fraud at Somali-run child care centers went viral, receiving millions of views and a retweet from the vice president. But state officials say they take allegations of child care fraud seriously, are working to improve systems and hold bad actors accountable, and say they believe the latest allegations are politically motivated.
My team and I are exploring all our legal options to ensure that critical child care services do not get abruptly slashed based on pretext and grandstanding. This hasty, scorched earth attack is not just wrong, it may well be illegal.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Starting today, CMS will roll out an updated technology policy. The change clarifies when students can use cell phones and other devices during class, limits access to social media, and strengthens internet safety protections. The policy also restricts one-on-one electronic communication between staff and students. School leaders say the update aligns with state law and supports a safer, more focused learning environment. The North Carolina Department of Transportation is highlighting major progress made in 2025, especially in recovery from Hurricane Helene. The storm damaged more than 9,000 road locations statewide, but NCDOT says crews have already repaired more than 7,000 sites and hundreds of bridges. The state also secured more than $1 billion in federal relief funding. Leaders say the focus now turns to safety, DMV improvements, and building a more resilient transportation system in 2026. A beloved New Year's Day tradition returns to California this morning. See how a South Carolina band is preparing for their moment on the country's grandest stage.
As the Panthers prepare for one of their most important games of the season, we're getting fans ready right here at home. Our Danielle Stein is going to be in Tampa providing extended coverage both on WCNC Plus and on WCNC Charlotte starting on Friday.
Okay, so if you can't make Tampa, watch the game with us. We'll be live on WCNC Plus for a game night watch party starting at 4 o'clock Saturday with real-time reactions and analysis, including from former NFL safety Eugene Robinson.
Right now, here is an exclusive deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests tons of products. I get rid of the rejects for you. I'm not here to waste your time. I just bring you the best, plus the products we can get you an exclusive deal on. And today, we have you covered in a big way. Come on in. This is the Static Go Hub Power Bank. It's an amazing 6-in-1 device. And let me show you why I love this so much. And I have two of them by the way. This is the one I use for travel, and this is the one I keep at home right here. You can plug it in the wall to charge it with that digital display, so you know how much longer you have to go. But then you can also charge it if you're on the run right over here. It has a USB and a USB-C. Then comes the part that you really care about, which is how do you charge your devices? You can charge multiple devices at once. Like I said, I use this to travel because I travel a lot for work. This is my computer charger. This is the charger I use for my iPad. I have a phone charger. I have the laptop. I also have another charger just for my earbuds. It's a real drag. This one can do all of it at once, and it has all the different connections. It has the USB-C. It has the micro USB for your earbuds. It has the lightning charger as well, and it all happens really, really fast, and it charges up really fast too. You need this, trust me. Like I said, I have two of them. And look how small it is. Fits right into your pocket, nice and easy. All right, the deal for you today, let's get to it. $39.99 normally, today for you, $31.99, 20% off. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
"2026 is going to be an exciting year in the world of sports with what promises to be some of the biggest events of the decade."
NBC Sports' Marie Taylor and Steve Kornacki has everything you need to know.
It has been a busy 2025, but now it is time to look ahead because NBC's lineup in 2026 is gearing up to be fascinating and absolutely historic, and nowhere will that be more evident than in the world of sports. So NBC will bring you some of the biggest sporting events ever, from Super Bowl 60 to the World Cup and more. To help me break all of that action down, we bring in Steve Kornacki and, of course, the big board. Steve, shall we start with legendary February?
Yeah, Maria. I mean, I don't know about you. February is the shortest month on the calendar. It always feels the longest to me in the dead of winter. It's going to feel a little different in 2026. We're going to start Friday, February 6th. That's going to be the opening ceremonies for the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. And while we're still absorbing all of that excitement, 48 hours later, we got Super Sunday, the Super Bowl 60 in the Bay Area, and they're still going to be giving out medals in Italy when a week later, on Sunday, February 15th, the All-Star Game, the NBA All-Star Game, different format this year, kind of Olympic themed, USA versus the world.
Yeah, it's following after the Milan Cortina Olympics. I love the idea. Let's get into the summer, though. There's plenty going on to start the year, but we're going to finish it well, too.
Well, July 4th, of course, marks the semi-quincentennial. I looked this one up. That's the 250th birthday of the United States of America. We are going to be televising. These are the tall ships. It's the biggest ever flotilla of tall ships coming into New York Harbor. Lady Liberty looking on my favorite tall ship, by the way, the Amerigo Vespucci from Italy.
That's my favorite too, Steve.
I think we both know one. It sounds like to continue celebrating America's birthday, July 5th, a Sunday. The national pastime, baseball's back on NBC. Every MLB game that day going to be on NBC or Peacock. And what else? What other big events going on in July?
No big deal. Something called the
World Cup. The U.S., Canada, Mexico are hosting July 19th. MetLife Stadium near New York will be the final. Big expectations for the good old USA in this one. Paraguay, Australia, the other teams in Group D. One European team. We still have to find out who it is. But the expectations are so high that one of the players for the U.S. says the goal is the semifinals. If the U.S. gets there, that's the deepest they've gone since 1930.
And that was the inaugural World Cup, Steve. So we'll see
Very
if they can pull it off this year. Thank you so much for breaking it down. And we hope you are looking forward to 2026 in the world of sports.
All right, well, check this out. Today, New Year's festivities continue for some folks from the Carolinas. South Carolina's very own Clover High School Marching Band will perform in California today at the Rose Parade. You're taking a look at their performance earlier this week at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Long Beach. You don't want to miss their march at the 137th tournament of Rose's Parade. Along with being broadcasted on NBC, the Rose Parade will be available to stream on several platforms.
A live look over Uptown at 8:49 on this New Year's Day. We hope that your day and your year is off to a great start. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with a check of weather and traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. Last time you left me, I had a weather bookmark right here talking about the weekend, so let's take it out. Let's continue reading this wonderful story. The wettest day on Saturday, that is the wettest day of the year. I know I'm just being dramatic. I'm dramatic in general, but for the near term, that is by far the wettest, because any other rain chance we have is maybe an isolated shower by day like 8, 9, or 10. But in the near term, we're looking at widespread rain. Saturday is not going to be a nice day. One telltale sign that it's going to be super cloudy for the day, it's not just the raindrops and the big old cloud icon, is whenever you have temperatures that don't move too much from the high to low, that shows that not a lot of heat is escaping and not a lot of sunshine is reaching the surface. So the overcast sky likely all day for your Saturday, going to be a pretty damp one. Same thing happened last Friday and last Sunday of 2025, showing you that, hey, that cloud cover and that damp situation is just going to stay with us. So let's get to it. Here's 11 a.m. today. At this point, we're still going to have some lingering clouds really north of I-40 and up and over the Tennessee border. So it will be a little bit cloudier for you in the mountains. The rest of us, we got sunshine on January 1st. And then clouds will start to increase through the morning tomorrow, but it's more so the afternoon that all of a sudden you have a mostly sunny sky that turns partly sunny, mostly cloudy, and then overcast. And then we're not seeing the sunshine for about a whole day. Our first chance for rain after midnight. So I was talking about the football game, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I think there might be a chance for a few sprinkles, or maybe you're able to see some of that mist in the lights, but most of the rain is going to fall really leading up to sunrise and shortly afterwards. And then we are likely going to hit a little bit of a break, especially south of I-85, but I want you to anticipate on and off rain throughout the day, especially for the first half, and then things will start to wind down, maybe even a chance for some sunshine right as the sun is setting. But most likely, it's going to be overcast from sunrise to sunset. It's cool, it's damp, and it has 3 superlatives. It's the cloudiest, it's the wettest, and it's also going to be the coldest day. I think I got that. Coldest, wettest, and cloudiest. All right, there we go. It's still the first of the year, still getting going. 52 is right where we should be for a typical start to January, 52, 32. But look at this, before you know it, we're back into the 60s. The 10-day forecast, by the way, has more 60s than 50s and 40s combined. So heading into a nice direction, a nice start to the new year. All right, one last look at traffic here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Want to show you one of our live cameras. This one's coming in from Blowing Rock. The trees are going crazy because it's so windy. The flags are as well. Still seeing some of those winds around 50 miles an hour there in Blowing Rock. And that's going to be the scenario if you're driving today up in the mountains. Those winds may kind of push your car side to side, so make sure you're paying attention there. Meanwhile, in and around Charlotte, this is I-85 at Statesville Ave, where conditions look great. Yeah, we have a few cars out there, but really not a lot of traffic whatsoever. Just grab those sunglasses and a jacket as you're heading out the door. We'll stay windy until early this afternoon for our mountain counties. Otherwise, mainly in the green around Uptown. Still following this one crash, so it has not been cleared. Sardis Road north at Monroe Road. Take it easy if you are out on those roads today.
Majestic things approaching 8:55 now. We need to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here streaming on WCNC Plus. At the top of the hour, our own Nick Sturdivant will take over from our live Impact studio. We'll have the latest breaking news as it happens here and across the country, streaming live only on WCNC Plus.
Happy New Year, everyone. We should be around 52. No, not today. 60 degrees is our high. That dog's happy about it. Hopefully you are as well. So it doesn't matter how you're feeling to start off the day. By the afternoon, sunshine's going to be at our shoulders, making us happy. Right around 60 degrees for a high is a delightful beginning to the day. A little bit breezy at first, but then winds start to tame throughout the day. We are going to be right back to around 60 degrees tomorrow, but increasing cloud cover leads to our next chance for rain. The best chance for rain for 2026, at least in the first week, will be Saturday, especially in the first half. Not a good looking day. No sunshine whatsoever. It's cloudy, it's cool, temperature's not really moving. Sunshine back in action with an average high of 52 on Sunday, and then steadily climbing back up into the 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday, lower to the mid 60s, and we stay in that range to finish next week. All right, what's traffic looking like? Jessica's going to tell you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're off to a great start to your new year. Notice how windy it is out there in Blowing Rock. You'll need to keep this in mind if you're traveling today up towards the higher elevations. If you're heading out to the mountains, it's going to stay windy in Blowing Rock, Boone as well, but not a lot of cars out on those area roadways. Even close to Charlotte will stay windy until about noon or so. Otherwise, not seeing any active crashes anymore. So happy New Year's and take it easy.